Am I in the right spot? Is this the Bill Clinton rally? I could barely even hear you. I'm still not sure. Am I in the right spot? Is this the Bill Clinton rally? Is this the place where we start to rebuild our country? Is this the place that's going to take us forward and not backward? Is this the place that stands up for teachers and students and moves us forward? I think I'm in the right place. On behalf of all 217,000 residents of Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania, I'd like to welcome President Bill Clinton here tonight. As your county commissioner, all of you are my bosses, but I'll let you in on something most people don't know. He was my first boss. When I lived down in Washington and worked at the White House for President Bill Clinton. He was my boss then, and we're happy to have him back here tonight. As we all prepare to vote tomorrow, for those undecided voters in the crowd, are there any here? I hope not. Who's undecided in this crowd? Nobody, right? Nobody. That's what I like to hear. I just want to make sure that we put this election in the proper perspective. We need to understand and remember where we've been. When President Obama came into office, we were losing nearly 800,000 private sector jobs a month. And we lost 3.5 million in the 6 months before he was inaugurated. Now, businesses have created over 5 million private sector jobs in the last 32 months. That's not too bad. After a decade of falling incomes, incomes are starting to rise again. Manufacturing was in decline, and the auto industry was on the brink of collapse. Now GM is the #1 automaker in the world. #1. And both the manufacturing sector and the auto industry are seeing its strongest job growth numbers since the 1990s. The worst financial crisis since the Great Depression was rapidly eliminate the retirement savings of millions of Americans. A housing crisis had led to record foreclosures, and health insurance companies were free to arbitrarily cap, deny, and cancel coverage. Now, retirement accounts are up 35% from 2008. And housing prices are beginning to recover as foreclosures have declined. We've ended the era of too big to fail, reined in Wall Street practices that take advantage of consumers, and stopped insurance companies from dropping you when you get sick, capping your coverage, or denying you because you had a pre-existing condition. That's not bad. Abroad, our alliances were certainly strained. Al-Qaeda continued to pose a significant threat, and our troops were stretched thin, deployed in 2 wars. Now, our troops are home from Iraq. Al-Qaeda is on the ropes, and our influence abroad has been restored. But listen, we can't stop there. We need to continue to build an economy meant to last, with a strong middle class at its core. The worst thing we can do right now is go back to the failed policies of George W. Bush. As we move forward, it is important to understand that there are two just very, very different visions for America. You see, Mitt Romney believes that we need more budget-busting tax cuts for the wealthiest and fewer rules for Wall Street. The same failed formula that benefited a few but crashed our economy and hurt all of us. He'll repeal Obamacare, costing tens of millions of people health care coverage and allowing insurance companies to discriminate based on pre-existing conditions. Romney will provide a $5 trillion tax cut weighted to millionaires and billionaires, blowing a hole in the deficit, even as he forces cuts in programs critical to middle-class security, education, medical research, clean energy, and increasing taxes on all of us by $2,000 a year. Romney wants to turn Medicare into a voucher program, where a similar program showed it would increase costs on seniors by as much as $6,000 a year. He'll also encourage jobs to be shipped overseas by giving them tax breaks. Now, how do I know he's going to do that? Well, he did that in the private sector, didn't he? That's what he calls success in business. Shipping out our jobs overseas, causing our people, like people in Scranton, Pennsylvania, good-paying jobs. He shipped those over to China and India. Is that the kind of country we want to live in? Oh, and by the way, I'm not sure if you guys read this, the latest news. Mitt Romney pays an effective tax rate of 13%. All of you pay at least 20% or more. He thinks it's fair for a millionaire like him to pay a lower rate than a teacher or a firefighter in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, that might be a fair tax rate on Wall Street, but that ain't a fair rate on Main Street in West Scranton, Pennsylvania. I can tell you that. Listen. We've tried Romney's failed formula for most of the last decade. It didn't work then. It won't work now. It benefited a few, but crashed our economy, hurt the middle class, and created the mess that we're in today. Now, President Obama, you ever hear of him? You guys ever hear of him? All right. Well, he believes we need to invest in education, energy, innovation, and infrastructure, and reform our tax system to create good jobs, grow our economy, and pay down our debt in a balanced way. The president believes we must invest in good teachers and help more students go to college and get job training, not pack kids in crowded classrooms and slash scholarships. Now, is this an America we can believe in? He wants to invest in promising sources of energy like wind, solar, clean coal, biofuels, nuclear, and natural gas to create a market for innovation and good jobs for the future, not going back relying on foreign oil. Now, is that an America we can believe in? He wants to invest in our best scientists, researchers, and entrepreneurs so they innovate here, not cede leadership to China and India. Is that an America we can believe in? He wants to rebuild our roads, bridges, ports, and broadband technology to attract business and create jobs here, not pet projects, bridges to nowhere, and crumbling infrastructure. Now, does President Obama, is he building an America we can believe in? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a clear choice. An economy built from the top down or from the middle class out. Everyone fending for themselves, or everybody pitching in and working together. Moving backward with Mitt Romney, or moving forward with Barack Obama. I'm starting to get the sense you might like him. Listen, please tell your friends, your family, please tell them we've seen what George Bush did to our country. Let's not move back in time. Let's continue to move forward with Barack Obama and Scranton's own Joe Biden. Are we going to elect Barack Obama and Joe Biden? Are we going to send Bobby Casey back to Washington to fight for us? Are we going to send Matt Cartwright to the United States Congress? Are we going to elect the first Democrat Attorney General, Kathleen Kane? Are we going to rebuild our country? Are we going to stand up for working families? Are we going to fight for students and their future? Are we going to move forward and not backward? Is Scranton going to lead the way to victory? You guys are fired up. So vote. Tell everyone you know to vote. And remember, As long as you're in line before the polls close, you can vote. Thank you very much for joining us.
Ladies and gentlemen, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please stand and welcome Scranton Mayor Chris Doherty.
All right, please put your hand over your chest and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm done. We're going to keep going. Remember to vote tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, to provide the invocation, please welcome Reverend Gloria Cheney.
To all of our city, state officials, let us pray. We thank God this evening for his continued care, blessings, and grace, for we are all undeserving. We are in awe of God, for he has given us so much, and he continues to shower us with his love, patience, and tolerance. As we gather tonight, our hearts and minds desire in this time of uncertainty, understanding, and clarity. We acknowledge our need for better and more for the least of us, for we are commanded to take care of them in the holy text. As our communities struggle, as our list gets longer, oh God, heal the land. As we come together on this day, please, God, refurbish our intentions, renegotiate our priorities, and call us to the place of peace, rational thinking, and allow us to give of ourselves in ways that make a difference to our families, to our cities, our states, and on this day, our nation. Allow us in the day ahead to maintain our attention to detail with determination and to continue to remain steadfast on the road paved by those who have gone to their great reward, leaving us the roadmap to follow. Oh God, guide our steps, and for what you are about to do, oh God, in advance we say thank you. And we will be careful to give you all the glory and the honor and much thanksgiving. And come on, help me say amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Jane Slusser.
Hello, Scranton! How are we feeling tonight? Who's excited to get out and win tomorrow? Woo! My name is Jane Slusser, and I am the Regional Field Director with the Obama campaign here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and I cannot tell you how excited I am that tomorrow we are going to go out and we are going to win this thing. Looking out here, I see some of those volunteers who've been with us since the beginning. Oh, there they are. They're all in the front. You get a good seat when you volunteer. But we've been working really hard for a long time. It's been over a year since I've been here, and I've watched our volunteers grow from a small motley crew of 1 to 2 here and there to a large, very motley crew that's out there right now knocking in the dark and the cold to talk to their neighbors and remind them to get out and vote, because that's how important this election is. Because we've been working so hard, of course, it's no surprise to me that President Bill Clinton would want to come here tonight to Scranton. Because he knows that there's no one who works harder than the people of Scranton to move our country forward. A year ago, in this very same gymnasium, we had another president come, President Barack Obama. We like this guy. And he came and he had a message, and it was a really specific message to Scranton. He said, Scranton, here's the good news. Just like you don't quit, I don't quit. I don't quit. I do everything to get the job done. And tonight, with just 12 hours until the polls open and people start to vote in this great state of Pennsylvania, we will not quit. We've got a lot of work to do, though. We've got a lot of folks to talk to. We've got to talk to our friends and our neighbors and remind them that they need to get out and vote tomorrow. We need to talk to them about the importance of that one single vote that they will cast. And we need to remind them that there is no way to win this election without winning Pennsylvania. There is no way to win Pennsylvania without winning big right here in Scranton. We have come too far and done too much over this past year and for our entire lives to stop now. We're not going to quit, so I need your help. Tomorrow, first thing I need you to do is to get out and vote. You got to vote, your mom's going to vote, your cousin's going to vote, everyone is going to get down to those polls. If you have any questions about where to vote, how to vote, when to vote, you're going to go to www.barackobama.com. Actually, you're going to go to vote.barackobama.com, but I think the other one will get you there. But voting is the most important thing you need to do. But if you want to have fun tomorrow and you want to have an impact on this election and know that you did everything that you could and you didn't quit, you're going to come on out and you're going to volunteer with us. And there are two simple ways right now that you can find out where you're going to volunteer. First, you're going to pull out your phone. Who's got a phone? Everybody got a phone. Everybody got a phone. You're going to text to 62262, spells out Obama. You're going to text WIN. And if you do that, you're going to learn how you can come down to an area in your neighborhood tomorrow to knock on some doors and talk to your neighbors and make sure that we get every single one of them out to vote for President Barack Obama tomorrow. If cell phones and texting are not your thing because it's, it's a little weird, we've got paper. You guys saw some folks out there with paper asking you to sign up to help us get out the vote. Maybe you dodge them, but they will find you because just like Scranton, they don't quit. You're going to sign up for a shift, or you're going to sign up for the whole day. You're going to come on out, you're going to talk with your friends, you're going to talk with neighbors in your area, you're going to make sure that they understand that they need to get out to vote. You're going to talk to them 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. You'll tell them where to go, you'll thank them afterwards. You will come out and volunteer with us tomorrow because there's just too much at stake. Are you guys with me? Are you wondering where do I go? Where do you go? There is literally an Obama office in every single neighborhood in this county. You can be up in Carbondale, in Old Forge, over in Dunmore, in Music, Greenridge, Hill Section, Downtown. There are so many places you can go. So you need to sign up, and we need to get you down there tomorrow because President Obama doesn't quit for you. Scranton doesn't quit for him. We don't quit for our hometown hero, Joe Biden. So please, in these final hours, come on out, volunteer with us, make sure we get out the vote so that tomorrow night we can celebrate together all of the great work that we have done. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Matt Cartwright.
Anybody fired up? Ready to go? Are there any Democrats in the room? That's right. We are the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a lot of people counting on us these days. They're counting on us to fight for them. We're the Democrats. If we don't fight for them, nobody else will they? Now, I have some questions for you tonight, and the suggested answer is we do. There's a war going on right now on the middle class.
Who stands up for the working families and the middle class? We do! Who sticks up for the 100% of Americans, not just the 47%? We do! That's right, we're the Democrats. When they want to turn Social Security into a risky Wall Street scheme, who stands up to keep Social Security safe? Who does? We do! When they want to turn Medicare into a lousy voucher program, who preserves Medicare the way it's supposed to be? Who does? We do! When Paul Ryan wants to cut 13% from veterans' benefits, who stands up for the people who stood up and risked their lives and their safety for us? Who does? We do! When they want to gut the rights of the working men and women to bargain collectively, who stands up for organized labor? We do! When they want to scrap environmental regulations, who stands up for the clean air and the clean water? Who does? We do! That's because we're the Democrats, that's why. When they want to make this Halliburton loophole to keep fracking poison secret from the public, who fights to protect our water tables? Who does? We do! That's right, we're the Democrats. When they want to take money away from schools, who fights for our public education systems? Who does? We do! When they want to repeal our Affordable Care Act, who stands up for the people with pre-existing conditions? Who does? We do! And when they want to repeal that act, who fights for the women seeking preventative health care? Who does? We do! That's right, we're the Democrats. When they want to roll back regulations on Wall Street, who stands up for the small investors and the homeowners? Who does? We do! And when they want to give tax loopholes to huge corporations, who stands up for making a level playing field for the small businesses? Who does? We do! When they want to balance the budget on the backs of the middle class alone, who fights back for the middle class? Who does? We do! That's right, we're the Democrats. And who wakes up every single day thanking God that we have people like Bill Clinton and Bob Casey and Barack Obama to lead us in this fight? Who does? We do! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Cartwright, and I'm seeking to be the first Lackawanna County resident elected as a Democrat to the House of Representatives in 53 years. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Senator Bob Casey.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. Wow. I have very limited time and one question. We didn't practice this, but we'll try it anyway, because I'm home and I know this will go really, really well. Got one question. Are you ready to win? What a crowd. Let me do that again. No, we won't do that. Thank you so much. I just have a three-part message. The first is a note of gratitude. So many people here, all the way up to the rafters and throughout this gymnasium tonight, in one way or another, you've helped me to become a public official, to serve in the U.S. Senate, and I'm asking for your help one more time tomorrow to get reelected to the U.S. Senate. But I'm also asking you to help. Go ahead. I also want to ask you, but also express gratitude for what you're doing for all of our candidates. For Barack Obama, for Joe Biden, for Kathleen Kane, for Rob McCord, for Matt Cartwright, for Eugene DePasquale, our whole statewide ticket. and all the candidates in between. We have so much work to do tomorrow. We have about 24 hours, and it's really a time tonight to express gratitude before we do some more hard work. And I really just have one final message. This is an election about the future, about whether we're going to move forward or whether we're going to take a right turn back into that ditch where they had us in 2008. We're not going to do that, because here in Lackawanna County, here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and throughout our Commonwealth, we take care of our families. We don't say to people who fought our wars, who worked in our factories, who taught our children, who gave us life and love and built this country, we don't say to them, you know what, we're not going to preserve the guaranteed benefit of Medicare. We say we're going to do all we can to strengthen Medicare and every family to benefit from Medicare. That's what we say in this state. And so, we're going to move forward on the economy. We're going to move forward on making sure we protect our families. And tonight, as we welcome President Clinton, let's give ourselves another reminder about what tomorrow means. Tomorrow is about hard work and voting. And at the end of that voting, we're going to win. God bless you.
Kane.
Hello, Northeast Pennsylvania. My name is Kathleen Granahan Kane. I am born and raised from West Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I am proud to be the Democratic nominee for Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have had a very long campaign trail, but a wonderful campaign trail. I have met people along the way who are filled with hope, who are filled with optimism, and who want to make sure that we take politics out of the office of Attorney General. But we need your help. I am not a one-woman show. My mother always said, if you want something done right, just get up and do it yourself. That's why I'm running for Attorney General, but we need everyone to come out. We need you to go home, and we need you to call your family and friends. We need you to make sure that you support the entire Democratic ticket. We need to make sure that we elect good people to office, like Senator Bob Casey from Scranton. We need to elect Matt Cartwright to the Congress. We need to elect Eugene D. Pasquale as Auditor General and Rob McCord as re-elect as our state treasurer. You know, we have a lot of work to do. We have just a couple of hours until the polls open up. We not only need you to vote, but we also need you to get back out there. This is a long race. It is a marathon, and we don't stop right before the end. I know that you work all day long. I know that you go home and pay a stack of bills. I know that you take care of your kids and your parents, and I know that you're tired. But the rest of Pennsylvania and this country depends on what you do tomorrow. So we need you. And to quote a great American, Bruce Springsteen, there will be no retreat and no surrender until the polls close tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Are you with me? Now, we are here tonight for another very important reason. We not just have to move Pennsylvania forward, but we have to move our country forward. We cannot go back to regressive politics. We have to make sure that we always take a step forward, and we will do that in re-electing our president, Barack Obama. I am voting for President Obama because I believe in equal pay for women. Does anyone else out there believe in equal pay for women? That's right. President Obama believes in equal pay for women, and President Obama is going to be the one that has already started to pull us out of the recession that we were in, and he will continue to move this country forward, not based upon fear, not based upon lies, but based upon the hope that we will and can do better. He needs your help. Will you be there for him? Good. Good. Because Scranton and Lackawanna County and Luzerne County and all of the surrounding counties deliver, don't we? So now, when I first started my candidacy, I had one very, 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 very important supporter. And that supporter was the 42nd President of the United States of America. And I want you to show him that we not only appreciate all of the times that he has been back to our area and how much he cares about our area and how much he cares about Pennsylvania, but I want you to show him that you appreciate the fact that he has come here at 9 o'clock at night to support the President of the United States and to ask for you to vote for President Barack Obama. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now offer you a great human being, one of our great presidents, the 42nd President of the United States, President William Jefferson Clinton.
Whoa. Look, first of all, you know, I've been working pretty hard in this campaign. You might have noticed, and I wanted to end. And so when the president and the campaign staff talked to me about where to go, I said, I'll go wherever you want to go. But I said, you ought to send me to 5 places in Florida, but not on the day before the election. That's not good there. It's too much trouble getting everybody to vote. Send me before, and I want to spend the last day in Pennsylvania, ending in Scranton. So Mayor Doherty, it's great to be back. Commissioner O'Brien, thank you for welcoming me. Matt Cartwright, thank you for running for Congress and for upholding the Democratic banner. And Senator Bob Casey, when you get reelected tomorrow, we're all going to breathe a lot easier about the future of the Congress. And now tell the truth. Are you proud of Kathleen Kane or what? She was out there running a primary. People said, who is this woman? What's going to happen? All these guys from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh called me. I said, you wait. And every single person who questioned my judgment has come up to me in the last 2 months and said, boy, were you right about her. She's great. And so tomorrow you're going to elect her Attorney General. And she'll be the first Democratic Attorney General this state ever had. And remember what I told you when I was here before. It's a really important job. and she will make decisions that will affect millions of people. And they will do great credit to her family, and to her hometown. So I thank you for supporting her and being so strong with her. You know, all of you know that Hillary and I buried her father here. We have had christenings for our nephews here. It's been an interesting part of our lives coming back to Scranton, where the Rodham family came from. And I'm glad to be here to end this campaign. I want you to know why I have worked so hard. When I was in Pittsburgh today to begin my tour through Pennsylvania, I looked up and there was standing Rodney Slater, who was my Secretary of Transportation. Some of you may have worked with him. He's an African-American guy from the Mississippi Delta. He was born in Lee County, Arkansas, when it was one of the 10 poorest counties in the entire United States. He worked like crazy. He was profoundly religious. He got a football scholarship to Eastern Michigan, got a degree, came home, earned his law degree, went to work for me in 1982 when he was very young. Heck, even I was young then. And worked his way up and came to Washington with me and served with great distinction as Secretary of Transportation. People ask him to come from all over the world now to come to their countries and help them to design and improve their transportation systems. And when I saw him, I said, "Why are you here?" He said, "The campaign's not over yet." I said, "Where are you going from here?" He said, "I'm going home." He said, "You know, those Republicans have got all these secret super PACs trying to elect state legislators, and they're supporting all these reactionary people." I can't make this up. One of the people that are supported in Arkansas actually wrote a book with a chapter describing how slavery was a blessing in disguise. Now, here's what I said. And I looked at Rodney and I said, "Rodney, look, I'd be for President Obama under any circumstances because I think he's done a good job with a bad hand. Nobody could have repaired this whole economy. We're going in the right direction. He's got good plans." But I said, I have killed myself in this election because we are refighting battles we fought 20 years ago when I won, and 30 years ago, and even 40 years ago. And the preacher rose up in him and he said, "But we must not grow weary in doing good, because in due season we will reap if we do not lose heart." Don't you lose heart. We're going to have a great victory tomorrow if we all show up. You know, there's a lot of reasons that I think the president ought to be reelected. And my take on it maybe is partly formed, I know it is, but the fact that I had the job and I know what it entails. And partly based on the fact that even since I left the White House, I spend at least an hour a day studying this economy. And so, first of all, I am telling you, nobody could have healed all the damage done by that financial crash in 4 years. But he didn't let us go into a depression. He started the long road back. Since we've been gaining jobs in 33 months, we've had 5.5 million new private sector jobs. That's twice as many as we had in the previous administration in 7 years. We have manufacturing coming back. 500,000 manufacturing jobs. First time since the 1990s when I was there, we've grown manufacturing jobs. This year, the biggest one-year drop in unemployment in 17 years, since 1995 in my first term. We're coming back. The question is, who's got the right approach to restore the middle class through jobs and rising incomes and give poor people an honorable way to work their way into it? Who's got the right approach to create the jobs of the 21st century and then make sure that they get placed everywhere in America, and that everybody, including non-college educated, middle-aged people who've been out of work or stuck in jobs with no pay raises, they too have a chance to get the training they need to get through, so everybody can be part of the American dream. I don't think it's a close question. For one thing, you know, when I was there, I worked with Democrats, I worked with Republicans. Today, I work all over the world and in America through my foundation. Half the time, literally, I don't know whether the people who are helping me are Democrats or Republicans, because we say, here's what the problem is, would you like to help? What do you know? And we try something, and if we fail, since we're not in politics, we can all stand up and say, hey, we tried, we failed. We're going to stop that and try something else. And we keep score, and the only way that keeping score matters. Are people better off when you quit than when you started? Do children have a brighter future? Are things coming together, not being torn apart? That's how we ought to think about this. I knew that President Obama had fully grasped his job when he left the campaign trail and went back to the White House to work on Sandy. And I knew it. You know, Governor Christie, the Republican governor of New Jersey, doing his job, as he should have, for Governor Romney, roughed him up pretty good at the convention. He calls him at midnight to make sure that something he asked for the federal government has in fact been done. That's how America works best. When, you know, something terrible happens, like that storm, and our little hometown where Hillary and I live, half people still don't have their power back. And we're in great shape compared to people in the Rockaways, Staten Island, Long Island. They're suffering. Places in New Jersey. But when something like this happens, we all know that we're all in this together. Works a lot better than you're on your own. And what I want to say to you is, I know from a lifetime of work, before, during, and after the White House, that we're all in this together always works better than you're on your own. I want President Obama to win this election because I believe he has been a good and faithful commander-in-chief of our armed forces, and that he has advanced. He has fought terror, ended the war in Iraq, is bringing the troops home from Afghanistan, vigorously pursued diplomacy because he knows we need a world that's changing this fast with all these things we can't control. We need a world with more friends and fewer adversaries. And he's got a heck of a Secretary of State. I'm for it. Wait a minute. This is really serious because a lot of these budget battles will affect this. I am for him because he has been steadfastly committed to taking care of the men and women in uniform when they come home, when they bear the wounds of war, when they need education or housing or a job. He's been there for them. And there's a dramatic difference in the level of support we will extend to veterans depending on who wins. We got 300,000 people who survived these wars, who would have died in previous wars, who have traumatic brain injuries. They must be cared for. I'm for President Obama because he got the endorsement of a self-described moderate Republican, General Colin Powell. And General Powell gave his reason. He said, I'm for him because I think he's done a good job with the national security, because he's not too eager to go to war, but he's not afraid to use our military resources, and because his opponent, Governor Romney's foreign policy advisors, are all those neocons that drove us into war in Iraq on bad intelligence. I'm for Barack Obama. You should be too. Everybody should be. I'm for him. I'm for him because of something that, believe it or not, President George W. Bush said one time. No, wait. When Bush, he said this, at least with Bush, you knew where he stood, right? You didn't. He and I have become friends. We have these huge arguments, but I don't have to worry about him changing his position in mid-sentence. And we've helped a lot of people in Haiti working together. But anyway, what he said one time was the president is the decider in chief. Remember when he said that? And a lot of people made fun of him. I told Hillary when he said it, I said, Hillary, they're going to make fun of him, but that's exactly what the job is. All the easy decisions get made by somebody else. They send you a little one-page memo. They say 100% of your staff thinks X, and all the congressional leaders think the same thing, and check yes or no. It's the hard decision when you've got to be decider in chief. Barack Obama decided to sign the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. And by the way, all of us who grew up in a family where mom and dad both worked know that it's not just a woman's issue, that no husband wants his wife not to be paid equal pay for equal work because it makes it a lot easier to raise the kids. So when Governor Romney was asked in the second debate, well, Governor, would you have signed this? There's just two answers, yes or no. He said, He said, you know, they brought me a bunch of binders with women's names in it once. I mean, he wouldn't answer. Now, I'm telling you, in the next 4 years, the president is going to have much harder decisions to make than whether you would have signed a law that has already been on the books 2 years. I want Barack Obama to be the decider in chief. I'm for him because he organized that agreement to save the American automobile industry. And because it saved 1 million jobs. I grew up in the car business. I know a lot about this. It saved 1 million jobs because if General Motors had gone down, then all the auto parts suppliers would have gone down. Then that explains why all the German and Japanese car makers with operations in America who didn't get one red cent out of this were for the restructuring because they would have gone down. Instead, we have 250,000 more people making cars. Now, and a 4-year high in automobile sales. Chrysler just reported a 5-year high. And Governor Romney was against it. He made a decision. Now, since no Republican has ever been elected president without carrying Ohio, where 1 in 8 jobs depends on the automobile industry, he's been trying to reformulate that position for some time, but he was against it. It's simple as that. And the bankruptcy judge said, if you don't do this, it's liquidation. So when he tied himself in knots and still couldn't convince anybody in Ohio he really was for something he was against, he did this Jeep deal. You've been following this Jeep deal? So he claimed that President Obama was working with Jeep to move jobs to China. Okay? Now, Jeep has operations in Ohio and Michigan, and when I was president, I actually helped. We had to do some work in the White House to make it possible to locate this plant in Toledo, and they needed the jobs bad, and I worked hard on it. And I know that's not true, because they just announced they're going to spend $500 million more, hire another 1,000 people, and produce new lines. Michigan Jeep's operation are expanding. It's totally fabricated. So the first time when you say something like that, maybe you just heard it and it's not true. So Jeep says it's not true, Governor. So he says it again. Then Chrysler says, Governor, it's not true. So they keep saying it. Then, it gets better. Then the president of General Motors, this guy's supposed to be pro-business. We're not talking about the UAW. The president of General Motors says, Governor, you've got to stop saying this. This is not true. All Jeep did was reopen a closed plant in China because they're making so much money in America, and nobody can make a Jeep, it's heavy, and send it to China and afford to sell it. If you're going to sell them in China, you got to make those there, make ours here. They bought an ad making the charge. And to make it worse, They first accused Jeep and the president, then they accused Chrysler and the president. You know, Chrysler is largely owned by Fiat. And so the latest charge was President Obama is working with the Italians to move jobs to China. I'm telling you, Scranton, you better listen to me. We better defeat him, because in the week after the election, he'll start coming out of the Irish after us, and we'll be toast. Now, we're having fun. Bob Casey was once on a phone call with an Italian. I'm sure they talked about sneaking these jobs from Ohio. Now, we're laughing, but I do not want the President of the United States to be someone who will willfully run an ad and then, when attacked, increase the ad buy to say something that is false over something as profoundly as important as good middle-class jobs with good benefits, when we need millions more of them. We don't need people trying to scare people about it. Now look, most important thing you need to know is that the president has a better economic plan for the future. His plan is, look, we got to invest in the jobs of tomorrow. We can't go back to Bill Clinton's economy. We got to go forward to a 21st century economy. And then we got to make sure those jobs can be put everywhere. So we have to encourage new forms of manufacturing and clean energy as well as traditional energy. Both. You got 4,000 people in Pennsylvania in the wind energy business producing enough electricity to power 180,000 homes today. So people still selling coal, they're still drilling gas, they're still drilling oil. But this is important. It's important that we do information technology right. There's all these swaths of rural Pennsylvania that could be part of the global economy if South Korea didn't have computer download speeds 4 times faster than ours. We need a modern infrastructure so that anybody who lives anywhere in America can access the internet in the fastest possible time. So, Obama says we got to access that kind of stuff. And we got to train and empower people to do it, which means we put more money into preschool, the race for the top in the public schools, the community colleges for young people who don't want to go to 4-year schools or can't afford to right now, and for people who've been out of work who need to come back and be trained in something where they can get a job. And put money on it. And we got to stop this terrible development we had in the last decade. Look, we're still near the top in the percentage of our young people who go to college, but we dropped to 15th in the percentage of our young adults with 4-year degrees. And you all know why, don't you? Cost has gone up more than inflation. The economy's been down. And lots of families are terrified they cannot borrow any more money. They'll never be able to pay it back. So they drop out and they drop out. It is a disaster for us. Now, not everybody's going to need a college degree to work in the 21st century, but most new jobs will be created by people who have those degrees. You know that as well as I do. And the kids in Northeast Pennsylvania ought to have the same chance that people do anywhere in America to get them to go, to stay, to graduate. So, President Obama changed the student loan law. He says we're going to stop paying bank subsidies and guaranteeing the loans. We'll loan the money direct to students at lower interest rates. And listen to this, let every student in America, starting next year, pay every student loan back as a small fixed percent of their income for up to 20 years. Now, you know what this means, don't you? This means nobody with a federal student loan will ever have to drop out of college again. It means when you get out of college, if you want to go to rural Pennsylvania and teach in a little school district with a low tax base, with a modest salary, you can go because your loan will be determined by your salary, what you have to pay, not the other way around. It means, so, and the president's plan is also to finish implementing the health care bill. Now, let's just talk about that a minute. I have been pleading with every Democrat I know for 4 years to talk about this in economic terms. It is a human issue, but it's an economic issue. So finally, I got a little help 2 weeks ago. Big front page headline in USA Today saying that a major reason middle class people did not get any pay raises for an entire decade was exploding health care costs, so their employers had to spend the money on insurance premiums instead of pay raises. So where are we doing now? Well, now 575,000 Pennsylvania families are part of a group of Americans who've gotten $1.3 billion in refunds from their insurance companies because they got to put 80 to 85% of your premium into health care now, not profits or promotion. Now, 3 million people between 19 and 25 have insurance for the first time on their parents' policy. Next year, 30 million will be able to buy insurance for the first time, millions of them with pre-existing conditions. Well, wait a minute. Here's the economics. Here's the economics. For the last 2 years, there are experiments going on all over America figuring out how to lower health costs and improve quality, like the Geisinger Group in eastern Pennsylvania, which a lot of you are familiar with. There's never been a comprehensive effort in America to lower costs and improve quality. It clearly can be done. We're spending $1 trillion more than we would spend with any other country's health system. So what does that mean? We've had the lowest inflation and healthcare costs in the last 2 years that America has had in 51 years. I want Barack Obama to be reelected president of the United States. So, now, Mr. Romney's got a very different idea. He wants to cut all that investment stuff I talked to you about, get rid of all those incentives for wind energy, let the Chinese and the Germans have the market. He wants to cut all that education stuff I talked to you about. Unbelievably, he wants to repeal the student loan law, give the subsidies back to the banks, cost you $60 billion more, make the loans harder to repay, increase the dropout rate, and drive us down in the world rankings. I couldn't make this up, but you have to understand. No, wait a minute. You just don't understand. You just don't understand. It's really important because he has to give a 20% across-the-board tax cut, 60% of which goes to the highest earners that have already gotten tax cuts. That's a decision to make. Now, I'm in that group now. I love saying this because I never had a nickel till I got out of the White House. And I would far rather do what President Obama wants to do and let me kick in a little more so everybody in Northeast Pennsylvania can have a college loan, so everybody can have rapid computer download speeds, so you can expand your jobs in healthcare and information technology. This is nuts, folks. There's 120,000 job openings every year in America for people with degrees in computer science. We only educate 40,000 people. So the obvious answer is to give millionaires another tax cut instead of to increase the number of computer science graduates. If you want it, you can have it, but don't pretend that's not the choice. Oh, there is one more little thing. The president has a budget based on arithmetic. Keep in mind, Romney wants to cut taxes $5 trillion more than Obama. He wants to, or to be fair, about $4 trillion more. They agree that we should lower the corporate income tax rates, and we can pay for that by repealing corporate deductions so you don't have Dow Chemical paying 35, creating jobs in America, and Exxon paying 17. That's good, but that's in the president's plan. He's got $4 trillion he can't account for, and then $2.5 trillion in spending he can't account for, because he knows better than the Pentagon about what they need, and he knows better than the AARP about what the insurance companies have to participate in the Medicare Advantage program. in spite of the fact that they're breaking down the doors to do it under the lower prices that President Obama is paying. People saving money, more insurance companies, more people in the program. He knows better. One of these days, these insurance companies are going to get mad and pull out. I'm not taking any chances. So I'm going to take 8 years off the life of the Medicare Trust Fund. And in spite of that, the numbers don't add up. Because you remember when they told us what a terrible problem this debt was? That's all they do. They talk to their blue in the face about it. They forget to tell you that we never had a large, permanent, structural deficit in peacetime with economic growth in this country, in our history, until 1981, when they got in with trickle down and said the government would mess up a two-car parade. There's no such thing as a bad tax cut. You can go to the dentist never and eat all the sugar you want. So in the 12 years before I became president, they quadrupled the debt. So I got in and put arithmetic back to work. And we took the debt down. We took the debt down 4 years, and we gave you 4 surpluses. Then they got in and they doubled the debt again. So what do they want to do? They want to do it all over again. He wants to dig this debt hole literally $6.5 trillion deeper. And you say, well, how are you going to fill that extra hole? See me about that after the election. Well, how are you going to, assuming you fill it, what are you going to do about the debt? Obama's got an arithmetic-tested $4 trillion debt reduction plan. What are you going to do? See me about that after the election. Hey, I'm a business guy. I don't have to give you answers. You got to trust me on this. You hire me to fill in the hole. I'm going to dig it deeper. I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to fill either the deeper dig or the original hole. See me about that after the election. But we do know that they're going to cut investments in the economics of tomorrow. We do know they're going to cut investments in education. We do know they're going to repeal that student loan law. We do know they're going to repeal the health care law, go back to the old insurance company pricing, make people with pre-existing conditions do without insurance and be dependent on emergency rooms. If you want it, you can have it. But don't pretend it's not a choice. I want Barack Obama for those reasons. Now wait. I want you to have, before I go, I want you to have just a little fun. Did you see where Governor Romney said the other day that if he were elected president, people would be so elated that the economy would produce 12 million jobs, poof, like that. Well, where's your budget? See me about that after the election. How you covering the tax cuts? See me about that after the election. People would just be happy. You get 12 million jobs. Now, it should be just a coincidence. Or maybe Governor Romney himself has been infected by what the president has warned us about, this great public health epidemic sweeping across America. The virus powered by hundreds of millions of dollars in secret money called Romnesia. You know, we're all vulnerable to it because it's out there everywhere. But anyway, he forgot to tell you this. Just a few days before, he promised you 12 million jobs if he were elected. A respected independent business forecaster, Moody's Analytics, you can look it up on the internet, said that in the next 4 years, we're going to get 12 million jobs if we just don't mess up what has already been done under President Obama. I'd like for him to get the credit for those 12 million jobs. So folks, I love Scranton because you've been good to me and good to Hillary. She started her campaign in Pennsylvania in this very place. I love that. I love Scranton because it's a community-oriented place. You know we're all in this together is better than you're on your own. You know cooperation is better than ideological conflict. You know arithmetic's better than illusion. You know it. And I'm telling you, this country is coming back. We are coming back. We have outperformed Europe. and we are coming back. But we cannot afford to turn back. We need to bear down, not trickle down. We need to vote our hopes and not our fears. We need to vote for tomorrow, not yesterday. This other economic plan is so yesterday. We've been there, we've done that, it didn't work. Vote for Barack Obama and give us all a better future. God bless you all. Thank you.